the Penn Trafford School Board meeting for April 11th, 2016. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a roll call, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Vice President. Mrs. Isson.
Here.
Mr. DeChassa.
Here.
Dr. Koshko.
Here.
Mr. Leonard. Here. Mr. Matarazzo.
Here.
Mr. Demick.
Here.
Mr. Petrucci is unable to attend this evening. Mr. Stovall.
Here.
Dr. Trey.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, Brett.
You're welcome.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 14th, 2016?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Namick, second.
Second.
Question being called for. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carried. Just need to add to everyone that we want to make everybody aware that we added an action item to Building and Finance to approve Plan Con H submission that we have to take care of. Other than that, we're going to move right into information and hand it over to Dr. Harris.
All right, it's actually our favorite time of the year. We're going to start off with Students of the Month with Mr. Napoli.
Thanks, Dr. Harris.
Before I bring up the elementary students of the month, just like to let the board know the students and staff at both Level Green and Trafford have been working very hard this school year. It's hard to believe we're already in the month of April. The students and staff are prepared to begin taking the PSSA tests, which starts for us tomorrow. The students have put a lot of hard work, determination, and effort toward their educational progress this school year, and the staff and myself are very proud of them. I would also like to take the time right now to acknowledge Mr. Dave Nigro, who is currently a 4th grade teacher at Trafford Elementary. He will be retiring at the end of the school year. He will be greatly missed, and we wish him the best. All right, now we have 2 elementary schools. We're going to do Trafford first. I need Mr. Devin Kreidler. Come on up front. Devin. That's good, It gives me great pleasure to introduce Devin Kreidler. Devin is a 2nd grade student at Trafford Elementary. Devin is the son of Scott and Heather Kreidler, who are here with us, as well as his grandparents. It was nice for them to come as well. He's the big brother to Elijah, who is a kindergarten student at Trafford Elementary as well. Devin can't say enough about his brother Elijah. He says they have a great time all the time. Devin says he is my best friend. Devin has 2 family pets who he cares about a lot. He has a cat, Zoe. Is it Zoe Y?
Zoe.
And Drago, their pet lizard. That's a great combination, Devin. Devin enjoys wrestling and playing baseball, which he is involved in right now, but always finds time to play his video games. Mrs. Whittick, his homeroom teacher, who is here with us as well, says Devin is a prime example of a star student. He listens well, is kind and respectful to all his classmates and teachers. He is a hard worker and makes all of us smile. I knew it would be a great year with Devin when on the first day of school, he told me he wanted to be a volcanologist.
Volcanologist.
Devin loves science and his enthusiasm for it shows. Mrs. Whittick wrote that.
You want to be it, you got to say it.
He loves his family and his pets, and speaks from ear to ear when he speaks of his brother. I feel blessed to have him in my class this year and lucky for his future teachers. In the words of Yoda, truly wonderful the mind of a child is. May the force be with you, Dev. You are out of this world. Devin Kreidler, congratulations on being in the
On behalf of the school board, I want to give you a little, what do you call it, certificate? And I want to say you're sharp dressed, man. You look good.
All right, next from Level Green Elementary, we have Brandon Coakley. Brandon, come on up. Brandon is a second grade student in Mr. Baumgartner's class at Level Green Elementary. Mr. Baumgartner is also here in the back with support. Thanks, Mr. Baumgartner. Brandon is the son of Dwayne and Shannon Coakley and the younger brother to Frankie Coakley, who is a fifth grade student at Level Green Elementary. Great kid, Frankie. Brandon's mom and dad are here with us as well. He also has a sister, Kimberly Miller, who is a former Penn Trafford student and is currently at Duquesne University. Brandon says he enjoys attending Level Green Elementary because everyone gets along and, he said this, has a great principal. These kids are good. Brandon says he likes how Level Green continues to talk about bullying and putting an end to it altogether. Mr. Baumgartner, Brandon's teacher, states, Brandon was nominated for the Student of the Month because of his exceptional attitude in class and school. Brandon's positive attitude lets him make the best of any situation. He uses his imagination, creativity, and true grit to solve problems. His energetic and positive attitude is contagious, inspiring other students to do better and act better. He is always encouraging his classmates, the first to lend a kind word or a helping hand. His excellent grades reflect his hard work, but his positive attitude is what shines through. Brandon, we are excited to have you at Level Green Elementary. You and your brother, who Frankie's getting ready to go to the middle school next year, are great kids. Congratulations on being Elementary Student of the Month.
I'm back. You might look better dressed than the kid before you. You guys look good down there. So here's a certificate, and keep up the good work, okay?
Thanks, Dr. Harris. Trafford Middle School, we are also in PSSA mode. Going to kick things off tomorrow and finish in 3 weeks with our science PSSA. On the 22nd of this month, we're going to have our dance, our spring fling. And then at the end of the month, beginning on that Friday, we will have our middle school musical, Lion King Jr. So that'll be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of that weekend. So I'm going to bring up Brianna DeArmond, 8th grader at Trafford Middle School. Come on up, Brianna. High school, you're getting a good one. She's here today with her mother and father. Her brother Nicholas is a 6th grader at Trafford Middle School. Bree starts her day at the high school. She takes her German class here first thing in the morning. And then when she comes back to Trafford, she's enrolled in advanced geometry and advanced literature. So she takes a pretty solid academic schedule. She has been on a high honor student at Trafford Middle School the entire time. So 6th grade through 8th grade, high honor student. At school, she's been involved in the choir for 3 years. She's been a member of the cross-country team and the basketball teams for the past 2 years, 7th and 8th grade. And she was an ensemble member of the drama club in 6th and 7th grade. Outside of school, she likes spending time with her family. She roller skates, playing softball, or watching movies and eating at restaurants. I like that one. She loves to travel. She's been to Lancaster, New York, Maryland, Virginia, South Carolina, Alabama, and Florida, and she's heading to D.C. this weekend, correct?
Yep.
So, becomes a no surprise. I don't know how she does all that other stuff, because this past summer she joined the Civil Air Patrol, an auxiliary of the United States Air Force. Brianna's a senior airman and will soon earn her sergeant stripes. She says she joins CAP because of the search and rescue program and the STEM opportunities. She is also a member of the squadron's color guard team, where she is a flag handler and rifleman. And I must say, she takes down our flag every day at the end of the day. And you know, I happened to be in the hallway in the front there, and lady had come in to just see me and to praise Brianna and her partner on how they handled the flag at the end of the day and how perfectly it was handled. So she's doing a good job. She spent Christmas break at Maxwell Air Force Base in Montgomery, Alabama. Her team won regionals and competed in nationals. She participated in the physical fitness test and in the leadership and aerospace problem-solving competitions. Her team has already won the wing competition this year for states and will be heading to Connecticut in May for regionals. When I spoke to her, she plans on being an engineer, right now aerospace, correct?
Yes.
Her teachers say the following: she leads by example and is a hard worker. She is an awesome student, an even better person, and she always gives her best and isn't afraid to ask questions. Brianna, we're all very proud of you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Brianna. When I was in high school and middle school, I used to play sports, study, and ref around baseball games in the summer. These kids are just incredible how much they do and how involved you get in everything. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
And we'll have the school ready for you next year.
Our high school, Mr. Quillo.
As you know, we're getting close to the end of the year. Hopefully everyone got a chance to go see Once Upon a Mattress, the spring musical, the last 2 weekends. Great show. I want to thank the Drama Guild for putting on such a great performance. Thank all the parents and teachers and especially the students for, again, a wonderful job. We do have 2 assemblies coming up, one being Mr. Kusha coming in to talk about dating violence to our 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. And we're also going to bring back the mock accidents for the upcoming prom. So our local fire department, police, helicopter crew, and ambulance crew will be visiting to do an assembly with them as well. So looking forward to that before we get to the Keystone time. We'll mention that we were, the district and high school were ranked number 16 on the Business Times. It is still ahead of still ahead of Norwood. So for those of you who like that. But here, while we're here, the reason we're here for Student of the Month, Emily Byers, if you come up front, please. I'd like to present Miss Emily Byers as the April High School Student of the Month. Emily has been an exceptional student at PT and is currently a senior who plans on attending W&J as a pre-med major. To understand how impressive that is, you have to understand a bit about Emily's background. Growing up, Emily lived with her mother in Phoenix until her mother was unable to care for her. Times were difficult and she moved in with her grandmother. It was at that time that her eyes were open to the music and the arts. Emily became such a strong vocalist during this time that she was invited to perform with the Phoenix Children's Chorus, in which she traveled for 4 years, I believe including China. Through the music, though music was going great, life continued to throw curveballs, and in 7th grade, Emily once again had to pick up and move. She and her family made a decision for her to move to Pennsylvania and live here with her aunt and uncle, Michelle and Ralph Santilli, who are here today. Many times when children have a difficult upbringing, they unfortunately struggle as they grow into young adults. This is definitely not the case with Emily. She stated to us that an individual is only presented with experiences that they can handle. She said it is frustrating to hear students say that the world is out to get them and that life is so bad and unfair because everything and every experience can only make you stronger. Words of wisdom from a 17-year-old that we can all embrace. When we asked Emily about what specialty field within medicine she planned on pursuing, she without hesitation said psychiatry. This is not shocking because everyone we spoke with indicated Emily's desire to help others. This desire to help others was clearly seen in her senior research project. Emily took on the subject of human trafficking. She thought contacting agencies and adjusting to the psychological aspect of trafficking would have to be enough. She contacted safe houses, and they told them how many would not speak because of fear of retribution, and to relive the trauma was too much. With a little guidance, Emily came to a Pittsburgh name, a survivor of kidnapping and sexual abuse who is known all over the United States, and today her story is told worldwide. This individual also wants to help, and I was fortunate to witness just that this year when Emily was able to secure Alicia Kazakowicz to speak to our student body at an assembly. Alicia's story, one of kidnapping and sexual abuse, is one that every teenager needs to hear because oftentimes teenagers feel they're invincible. Throughout this presentation to our 11th and 12th grade graders, you could have heard a pin drop even on the carpet in the auditorium. That in of itself shows the impact that Alicia had on our students. And without Emily reaching out to Alicia and coordinating her trip to PT all the way from Chicago, our students would not have had a chance to hear that message, a message that Emily clearly knew needed to be heard by her peers. I personally have never seen an auditorium full of high school students silenced, but Emily figured out how to do it and how to leave a lasting positive impression on her peers. When we spoke to Emily's teachers, they each indicated with great enthusiasm what a wonderful choice Emily is for this award. They said that she is a positive, upbeat, sweet young lady who wants to help others. They were each extremely impressed with her work habits and her ability to juggle multiple responsibilities while still maintaining her academic performance. Each teacher indicated that she has a bright future ahead of her because of her indirect ability to improve herself in every class, involve herself in every class discussion, and her willingness to continue to ask questions so she feels satisfied that they've been answered. Emily is part of the National Honor Society, Spanish Club, and CAP. Whether she knows it or not, Emily has an uncanny ability to motivate her peers and bring awareness to them in ways most educators can only wish. It is because of her desire to help others, her ability to overcome, persevere, and succeed, and this ability to motivate her peers that I'd like to present to you Ms. Emily Byers as High School Student of the Month.
Glad you made your way to Penn Trafford, and from what he said, you won't have any trouble being successful.
We're going to take a short photo opportunity for the students of the month. We're going to come over to the side, so the four students can come over here. All right, next on the agenda, I know Mr. C sent a pinch hitter tonight, so Mr. Dancer, going to come up. Oh, Mr. Who's going to come? I'm sorry, Mrs. All right.
If you open yours first, that would be less.
My bagpipes.
Good evening. My name is Chris Schultz, and I'm the director of the Color Guard here at Bear County. I appreciate the opportunity to come here tonight along with the one who will run for the evening our brand new band uniform. And guys, as I announce your name, you can turn around to the side. Our first model is Kelly Gillespie. She has our drum major uniform on. Alec Rich and Carrie Dancer have the marching band uniforms. Sydney Adamick, Stephanie Hilderhoff, and Carly Frank have the color guard uniforms. We are here to thank all of you for purchasing the band and guard members' new uniforms. They were delivered on Monday, March 14th, which was the start of a very busy week for our program. Our band parents managed to fit every student in the band in 2 days, which enabled us to debut the uniforms in front of family and friends in the new auxiliary gym on March 17th and take them to the band trip to Florida on March 19th. While on the trip, I was able to observe the students representing our school district and community incredibly well by being well behaved throughout the entire trip and by performing 3 times with excellence, showing off their new uniforms in front of thousands of people, both in the Walt Disney World and Universal Studios. We are truly appreciative of the support of that all of you have shown our program and look forward to the students performing in the Claridge and Stratford Memorial Day parades in May and starting to prepare the students for next year. Thank you very much for everything that you have done and continue to do for our band, concert, percussion, and color guard programs. The new band uniforms. Thank you.
I know Mrs. Isling went to see the march. She actually sent me a picture that
Yes,
night.
and they wrote down, I texted Dr. Harris a picture. I took bunches of pictures, but only one came.
It was difficult because we marched in the evening parade. It was
Right.
very dark.
It
was
was.
very, very dark there. So,
Yeah.
but they did a fabulous job.
I do love the band uniforms, and I know
They're sharp.
So are they hot? Or are they better than the last one? Are they? Not as bad?
Yeah, last
I
one's
would
was
think
like
heat
really
would be
hot.
an
Right?
issue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Thanks again, you did that. All right, now we have music at the elementary school with the Culture Fest. Ms. Patty Kearns and students.
Good evening. Thanks for having us. I'm Patty Kearns and I teach music at Sunrise and McCullough Elementary School, and the students have been working very hard to put together the first Penn Trafford Community Culture Fest event. And they came with me tonight to invite you in a very special way. If you want to hit the music. Ready?
We're here to invite you to the PT Culture Fest on May 1st, from 1 to 5. And see our melodic songs that were created throughout the year in music class. Games, the ethnic foods prepared by parents from our ancestors. They are so good. Learn to dance as if you are Irish, or maybe Croatian, or even Italian. It would be so fun if you attend. Come and share our ethnic origins. Come see the world in just one setting at McCullough Elementary School. It will be a day full of excitement and fun. Yeah!
Good job.
This is Cammie and Mark and Diva and Sarah and Rocco and Nicholas and Anna. And they are just a small representation of everything that will be going on. Your invitations are in those lovely colored envelopes on the table. Please come and enjoy. We have much food, dancing, singing. It's going to be a great day. The kids have been working very, very hard in putting all of this together. I just get to organize them. But thank you very much for letting us come and be a part of the invitation.
Thanks for all. Our first ever singing telegram. That was very nice. Next we have Ms. Chesky and Ms. Andrews, who are doing battle.
And we can't sing, so.
We should have thought of bringing children along for this. We are so pleased. I'm Christine Chesky, the elementary librarian at all 5 of our schools. We're so excited to be here to talk to you about a program that Dawn and I have been working on for over a year called the Battle of the Books. And if Mr. Rainier could pass down the packets, we have some information to share with you. And Donnie Andrews, who's the co-chair, is going to give you a little bit of a background of the program.
Hi, everyone. Battle of the Books is a one-night event, but it really gets the students involved in reading for really up to 6 months, 9 months before that night. We started planning this about a year ago, and it's basically, it's like a trivia bowl, basically an academic, quiz night. Students anywhere from, well, in PT that are in grades 3 through 5 can enroll a team with an adult sponsor, and they get a book list to study, to go through and read and to discuss as a group. And then the night of the event, they're all working against each other to try and answer as many questions quickly as they can and win the trophy at the end. It's been so amazing to see the interest in the kids throughout the district. We've heard from other districts in the area that have done Battle of the Books before, and they've said that a successful event is when you have between 20, 30, teams, or sometimes maybe even 11 teams enroll across your district. Right now we have 212 students enrolled in the Battle of the Books. So we are just absolutely thrilled. As I said earlier, we started planning this back in April. Mrs. Chesky and I sat down and talked about, what would the timeline look like? How much time do we get the kids to read these books? We decided to have the kickoff be in November. We had a fantastic video that Mrs. Chesky put together with a superhero theme, and it was awesome. Eye of the Tiger was the theme. song in the background, and the kids loved it. So they immediately started to form teams, talk to teachers about being their sponsor. Some parents are adult sponsors. And right now we have about 44 teams, I would say, but it's definitely 212 kids across the district. So we have 2 divisions, grade 3, and then grade 4 and 5 are combined. And it has been absolutely amazing to see the kids in the school when I go in to volunteer for a PTO activity, to see them talking, about a book they read. I'll go in the library to help Mrs. Chesky with something, and I'll hear them saying, "Did you take this one out? Have you read this one yet? This is our favorite." It has just been absolutely incredible. At this point, we have bulletin boards displaying each of the teams in the schools across the district. We do monthly newsletters that Mrs. Chesky takes the time to put together, and the coaches are loving that because they're starting to get a little anxious. We have coaches that are putting together board games for their teams to study the books and to answer questions when they meet. It has just been fabulous. So at this point, our agenda is looking pretty exciting. We have the 5th grade chorus with Mrs. Kearns doing the national anthem that night. We have some middle schoolers volunteering to introduce teams and to make signs to get those kids excited as they're escorted into the gym. And then we have a photo booth for the teams to take team photos. It's going to be wonderful. So at this point, Mrs. Chesky wanted to just kind of give you some examples of the books that they had to read and talk a little bit about some of the planning that went into that part of it.
When I was putting the list together of the books for the students, each of the divisions has 12 books on their official list to read. And I tried to cover a variety of interest levels and reading levels. We did not want to make this just for academically gifted children. We wanted everybody included at all reading levels. So just as an example, we have 7 teachers, 2 library aides, a PCA, almost 40 parents, a school nurse, all leading teams. At Harrison Park, we have a team staying after school with the library aide. She has permission of all of the students' parents. She provides a snack and makes meaningful connections to the text for the students who are more of the emerging readers instead of independent readers. So just to give you an idea of some of the things that we're reading, Stone Soup, the kids partner read this with their adult coach, put the ingredients together and tasted Stone Soup. Clara Barton, Angel of the Battlefield, another group wrote to troops that were overseas, family members, and those troops wrote back about how Clara Barton's legacy is living on through the American Red Cross. Another example is The Earth at the 3rd grade level. One of the teams at Harrison Park is planning conservation projects for Earth Day related to the book that they're reading for the Battle of the Books. So mostly for the emerging readers, the coaches were leading the way. We also have teams where the students are independent readers, and they are taking the initiative to lead all the discussions in their group. Some of the examples from the 4th and 5th grade level are Island of the Blue Dolphins, Newbery Award winner. Out of My Mind, which is a realistic fiction book about a girl who's 11 years old who has cerebral palsy and is trapped physically in her body, but intellectually is at the level that her peers are. And in this book, she describes her frustration being placed in a kindergarten class where they're repeating the alphabet over and over again, when finally she's able to get a device that allows her to speak and communicate for the first time. So this one has been very meaningful. And I Am Malala, about the youngest Nobel Peace Prize winner and her fight for women's rights and education so that we don't take our freedoms for granted here. So there's been a lot of interesting discussions about the books happening.
So at this point, it is just completely taking on another level. I mean, I think we are in good shape at this point to probably pack that high school gymnasium with the number of families that I hear are planning on attending. Any money that, I should mention, each team when they register paid $5 per student to enroll in the Battle of the Books, and any monetary proceeds after the event that are left over are going to get donated to the PTCEF to make sure that that money goes back into the district. And we also are pretty excited. We have a basket raffle we're going to do that night, a book fair. We have a book company that's going to donate books, and we're hoping that the money that we can generate can also pay for next year's books, so we can do this event, year after year after year. Our biggest goal here is just to encourage independent reading and group discussion as much as possible, but we're seeing teamwork, collaboration. There's a real sense of community, which is nice when you hear the kids. I'll go to a baseball practice and I'll hear kids talking about their Battle of the Books team. It's really neat to see. So we want to formally invite all of you to come to it that night. It's May 5th at the high school, night before prom, so the kids can sleep in the next day, hopefully. And thank you for letting us speak tonight.
Thank you. It was a lot of work and planning on your terms, the two of you, on your behalf. And giving it back to the foundation was a great connection. Ms. Andrews is also a foundation member. She's one of our few, like I said, we have a few small people in our foundation, but we do a lot of work with it. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Mr. Corlett. Did you find Anna?
My mom's leaving her home. She was sad.
I looked over and I noticed that I was supposed to take another little kid home next day. I was thinking, where is she going? All right, and that's all I have.
Okay, it's now time for audience recognition. The following rules are in effect. You must state your name, address, and group affiliation, if any. Your statement will be limited to 5 minutes in duration. All statements shall be directed to the president, and no participant may address or question a board member individually. I may interrupt you if your statement is too lengthy, personally direct, abusive, obscene, irrelevant. And we have one person signed up, Dave Dancer, for tonight.
Good evening. Back again. Okay, I'm going to give you some updates on the band and some things that are happening with them that you guys, I feel, should know. On March 19th, we had Treewood Championships. The middle school guard were silver medalists. They took second. The high school guard were bronze. And the concert percussion was gold medalists. And I think now would be a good time to acknowledge Mrs. Yelch. She was a color guard instructor, and she is the nurse that travels with them. Moving on, I took the liberty of giving you guys pictures of the Florida thing. They had 3 great performances in Orlando. They had 2 parades, one at Disney and the other at Universal. And they had 1 workshop that they went behind the scenes and worked with Disney. They debuted the new uniforms down there, which looked great. And just to give the kids a little kudos, they were excellent on the trip. No trouble anywhere, did what they were supposed to do, performed well, no problem. Upcoming events, Friday, April 15th, the high school jazz band performs at the Yacht Jazz Festival. PT performs at 6:45, and there are 8 other bands participating in this performance. On Saturday, April 30th, at the PT Auditorium, the high school jazz and concert band is doing a concert. This is the one that I told you guys about last one with Dr. Z coming in. He's the one that was commissioned to write an original piece of music for Penn Trapper to perform. And he is going to be here to conduct the students. That's a really great opportunity. The name of the piece will be the world premiere of Joyride. And like I said, he will be here to conduct that. Again, we'd like to thank Dr. Harris for the opportunity to bring him here. You guys saw the band uniforms. Okay, they look great. Just a little side note, that these uniforms are machine washable, and over the next 7 years, we're projecting a $25,200 savings on dry cleaning bills. So that'll help. Again, thanks for getting the uniforms. A couple things that I wanted to bring up that, this is just me personally, I don't understand it. Maybe this isn't the right time to do it, but I'm going to ask anyway. The trees that are being planted in the back, I don't know how they are, but once they start growing, they're going to effectively render the band practice field ineffective. because we're not gonna be able to have a full view of the band or a high view to look down, see where the kids are on the right spots when they're marching. And I don't know if we could somehow get a tower so we can be above the trees. I don't know, but that's gonna create a problem if they start growing. And,
Can I respond to that?
huh?
I'll respond to that. There are code requirements that require shading of the asphalt, so those trees were required to line all of the asphalt.
Okay, but is there anything we can do to help
There may
your
be something we can do
performances?
with that, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, that's gonna put a big,
Yeah, and we
Big
can look
problem,
at where
because
they're
we can't
placed.
get the
Maybe
same-
there is a spot that's in between that we can do something.
okay. And while we're on that, is there any chance we could get the LED lighting to project out there, since it does such a good job back there now? I mean, it lights up that side of the building really, really well. And if we could get some, because the band usually practices from 6 to 9 at night, and the more light we have, the better they'll be. And one final thing is the Chick-fil-A fundraiser on Saturday. I told you guys about it before. It's from 10 to 10 on the 16th. And if you go to the Chick-fil-A up at the Walmart Plaza and tell them you're from PT, a portion of the
We don't have
profits.
to have a flyer, we just have
No,
to say PT.
you just go in when you order, tell them you're PT, and a portion of the proceeds go back into the PT band. And that's it. Thank you.
Greensburg.
Thank you so much.
Greensburg one, right?
Greensburg.
The one at the Walmart Plaza, yeah, in Greensburg. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, may I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report and the high school extracurricular fund report?
Motion.
Motion by Mrs.Issing,
Second.
second by Mr. Nemick, I'm sorry. Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried. I have a motion to approve the list of bills for the month of April.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Nemick,
Second.
second by Mr. Mariano. Motion being called for, or question being called for, this will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried. Old business?
We have none this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you. Prior to the meeting, we held an executive session, and we discussed personnel matters, litigation matters, SEIU negotiations, and the board also met to receive information regarding PlanCon status, access funding, recreation board funding, district and state budget, technology, and I can't read that. I'm sorry. Technology.
Technology use agreement.
Okay, technology use agreement. And that's all we had done in executive session. So we'll move on to new business, athletics and extracurricular. Dr. Costo.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I do have a few things today. Move to employ the following personnel. New employment is contingent upon receipt of all necessary documentation, acceptance of Act 34, 151, and 114 waivers from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania within 30 days. Elizabeth Janis, varsity field hockey assistant coach.
Second. Second by Mr. Leonard.
Question being called, please.
Question being called for, this will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
Move to approve the following volunteer coaches effective immediately. All coaching volunteers must have Act 34, 151, and 114 waivers on file with the athletic director. Shane Bush, volunteer track coach. Ryan Sharir, volunteer boys lacrosse coach.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Issing.
Question?
Question being called for. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
That'll be all, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Costo. Budget and finance, Mr. Chassid.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Move to approve the following expenditures for the high school renovation project according to schedule as listed.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nemick.
Question?
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
Move to approve the following change orders. These change orders were reviewed last week's information meeting as listed.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nemick.
Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
Move to award the allotted bid for multi-purpose paper and purchase the items per the school district's quantity request at the reference prices from WB Mason Company Incorporated. The party indicated whom the WIU Joint Purchasing Consortium has recommended as the lowest responsible bidder, meeting or equaling specifications for the 2016-17 school year.
Second.
Second by Dr. Costo.
Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
Move to approve the purchase of the FortiGate firewall for a total cost of $31,775. This price includes 3 years of support.
Second.
Second by Mr. Leonard.
Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
Move to authorize the administration to prepare and submit PlanCon Part H documents.
Second.
Second by Dr. Costo.
Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
That is all I have this evening, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. Kachasik. Grounds and safety. Mr. Leonard.
I have nothing under buildings and grounds and safety tonight, Mr. President, Vice President.
Thank you. Employee relations, negotiations, and transportation. Mrs. Issing.
Nothing to report, Mr. Acting President?
Thank you, Mrs. Issing.
Yeah, you want it.
Food service, Dr. Trey.
Thank you, sir.
There you go, make it simple.
Move to grant permission to opt out of the National School Lunch Program at Penn Trafford High School for the 2016-2017 school year.
Second.
Second by Mr.
Dallas.
Leonard.
Question?
Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
Thank you. And finally, move to grant permission to advertise for food service bids for the 2016-17 school year.
Second.
Second by Dr. Costo.
Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
That's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Personnel and curriculum, Mr. Leonard.
I do have a few items for tonight. First of all, I'd like to move to approve additional substitute teachers and support personnel for the month of April 2016 as outlined in Appendix B.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nemec.
Question?
Question being called for. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the administration to request 3 8-hour days and 1 2-hour early dismissal day from the Department of Education under Act 80 for the 2016-2017 school year. The release time will be used for teacher in-service, parent conferences, curriculum development, and long-range plan activities.
Second.
Second by Mr. Kachasik.
Question. Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the following leave requests: Donna Graham, Patricia Mentz, Martin Oshesky, Amanda Rogers, and Jackie Stagno.
Second?
Second by Mrs. Issing.
Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the following textbook for the 2016-17 school year that are in the textbook budget according to the textbook cycle. The title is Envision Math 2.0, publisher Pearson, grade level K through 5, cost of $157,871.93.
Second.
Second by Mr. Kachasik.
Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
I'd like to move to employ the following professional employees effective Monday, August 22nd, 2016 to teach in areas of their respective certification and as assigned by the administration. Employment is contingent upon the receipt of a signed contract not later than Friday, April 15th, and the subsequent receipt of all necessary certification documentation. and the acceptance of Act 34, Act 151, and Act 114 waivers from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. For social studies and business teacher, Mr. John D. Lacey, level B, step 2, salary $43,100. School nurse, Ms. Lisa Popovich, level B, step 1, salary $42,300.
Second.
Second by Mr. Matarazza.
Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
All right, and we have both John and Lisa in the audience. I want to just take a few minutes for you just to meet them briefly. John, if you can stand up. Congratulations, John. He'll be teaching at the high school. He'll be doing social studies and business. And besides those two certifications, how many more do you have?
I think 3 other ones.
3 other ones, in what fields?
K-12 technology education, 4, 5, and 6th grade all subjects, and I have middle level science 7 and 8.
And how long have you been at SLA?
I started in December of last year at Penn Middle School, so about a year and a half.
I know Penn Middle was going to be very sad. The principal was very, he was happy for him, at the same time very mad that he was leaving, because John does a lot. He never stops moving. So I hope you take that energy with you to the high school and have another good 35 years.
Couldn't be more thankful. Thanks to everybody.
Congratulations. John, are you with your fiance right now?
Yes, that's my fiance Katie.
Because I know the last couple weekends you've been looking for a house in PT.
Yes, we have been.
That's wonderful.
Any advice?
Well, I heard about Palm Court, so I don't know if you want. I don't know if you want to move there, but no.
Thank you very much.
Anywhere in PD, you don't have to, like I say, but it's always nice to have our teachers live with us, because that's, I always think when you work here, you just, and your PT, it just makes you proud. And as you can see, you can take your kids to work. Well, thank you so much. And we have someone who's been with us for a long, long, long time, Lisa Popovich. And I don't know if you have to come a little bit closer. But Lisa, when did you start? You actually started as a volunteer. How many years ago?
In 2005.
2005.
When my son Nicholas, or it was actually before that, but my son Nicholas and when Natasha were in school, I became a PTO mom.
And during your time, what was your biggest accomplishment over there in the college? As if we don't know.
Truly one of the greatest accomplishments was with Scott Mickey when we wrote an essay about my son Nicholas and the needs and struggles of a special needs child in the schools and also on a playground. And we were truly blessed with all the support of the teachers, staff, community, everyone. And we won a $300,000 boundless playground that was installed at McCullough Elementary. So it truly was one of the greatest things I ever experienced.
I know my kids enjoy that, and many kids after hours enjoy that, especially during, if you have some kids playing sports at Penn Middle, you see the little brothers and sisters going over there. But a lot of kids do come, especially for that one, because they have special needs. And that's even after hours in the community. I already see someone over there. So, but besides that, you also volunteer for PT Drama.
I do. I am the president of the Penn Trafford Drama Guild Parent Association. And we, as they were saying, we had 5 very, very successful shows the past 2 weekends. The kids are amazing. We were blessed with Tom Beckevac coming back as our director and Beverly Rubright as our music director and Deborah Reagan as our choreographer. And it was truly amazing. They motivated the kids to do some beautiful things on that stage. And Jen Haberberger and Amy Kelly as our sponsors. Everyone worked together to make something truly special on the new performing arts stage.
Well, that's great. And like I told John, I hope you have 35 more years if you're at the high school.
I would love that. I truly would. I'm truly humbled at this opportunity. I mean that with all of my heart. I truly believe God brought me to this place when in March of 2014 I was at a parent advisory meeting. And we had some parents who were concerned about the number of nurses who were filling our schools. And Dr. Harris said, well, it's just unfortunate we just don't have substitutes. And my friend Susie Perrin looked over at me and looked at Dr. Harris and said, well, Lisa's a nurse. And Dr. Harris said, that's right, why are you not one of our nurses? And I looked at him, I said, because I've always been a PTO mom. So with that, we went down, spoke with Danielle and got me signed up, and I started subbing, and truly became one of the greatest things I ever did in my life, because I wanted to know more. I wanted to know more about what I could do to be a better nurse for the kids and the staff in the school. And through a lot of love and support of the staff, the administration, and especially the kids, I've gotten to the point where I wanted to do something more. And again, by the grace of God, put me in a position where my husband has supported me 100%. My husband Sam is here with me, and couldn't have more love and support from that man, and wanting me to pursue something more. That when we found out that we were pregnant with our son Nicholas, and then found out he had issues, I left my nursing career to be a stay-at-home mom and take care of our children. And so now he's thrilled at the opportunity I get to do, by also showing my children that you can be 50 years old and go back to school. So I'm truly blessed. Thank you very much. Thank you for this
I'll share
opportunity.
a quick story. I think we were thrown together about 7 years ago to coach basketball, and she just volunteered, and she came to me and said, I know nothing about basketball. And she was right. But when you have, what were they, 3rd or 4th grade girls coming out and skinned their knee and did this, the compassion that she showed, I just kept coaching, and she would take care of all the stuff that was going on along the side with 3rd and 4th grade girls. She was awesome, so glad to have you on board.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Back to number 6.
Okay, I have a little couple more order of business. I'd like to make a motion to approve the following intern assignment: California University of PA. The cooperating professional will be Jeffrey Schwartz, the intern Andrea Crescura. The area will be the principal. The date is July 5th through August 13th of 2016.
Second?
Second by Mrs. Issing.
Question?
Question being called for. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carried.
Okay, and I'd also like to make a motion to approve the following conference request. Lynn Eckbert, NAGC 63rd Annual Convention in Orlando, Florida, from November 2nd through the 5th of 2016, at a cost of approximately $1,500 to the district.
Second?
Second by Mr. Matarazza.
Question?
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
That's all I have, Marty.
Policy, Public Relations, Legislative, Title II. Mr. Matarazza.
Thank you. I'd like to move to accept and file the minutes of the Superintendent's Information Committee meeting held on Monday, March 7th, 2016.
Second.
Second by Mr. Neiman.
Question?
Question being called for. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
And I'd also like to move to give tentative approval to the board policy number 123.4 on naloxone administration.
Second.
Second by Mr. Leonard.
Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried.
That's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Taxes, insurance, and census. Mr. Neiman.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Stovall.
Thank you. Solicitor's report, Mr. Brunga.
Nothing this evening, Your Majesty.
Thank you. PTA Representative, Mr. Sean Renier.
The Plan Con money, is that back in the books? Is that are we gonna get any of that, or?
Don't know yet.
I didn't know, since we got a budget, that was, we're back in business or not.
That part of it hasn't been decided yet.
And I'd like to commend the board on a very nice weight room they put in. Plan on using that. I need a workout partner, though.
Nothing else. We're going to move for motion for adjournment.
Motion.
Second. Second.
Second.
Time, 8:04. Meeting adjourned, 8:04.
Take care.